The scoreline reads 4-0, but a simple glance at the numbers fails to capture the surgical precision with which Inter Miami dismantled FC Cincinnati at TQL Stadium. In what was billed as a heavyweight clash between the second and third seeds of the East, we witnessed a masterclass in transition football orchestrated by Lionel Messi and tactically engineered by Javier Mascherano. This was not just a win, it was a statement. Miami didn't just defeat Cincinnati, they psychologically deconstructed them, turning a hostile, sellout crowd into a library by the 60th minute. The first major talking point occurred before a ball was even kicked. Manager Javier Mascherano made the bold decision to bench legendary striker Luis Suarez in favor of the 19-year-old Matteo Silvetti. Against Cincinnati's high-energy back five, Mascherano needed legs. He needed verticality. While Suarez offers elite finishing, Silvetti offered the pace to stretch Cincinnati's defense, a decision that would prove prophetic. Cincinnati, setting up in their usual 3-5-2, looked to overload the midfield and stifle Messi, but they failed to account for the speed at which Miami would bypass their midfield entirely. The match began with Cincinnati looking the sharper side. For the first 15 minutes, the home side pressed high, feeding off the energy of the orange and blue wall. They created the first real scare in the 15th minute when striker Kevin Denke found space in the box, forcing a sharp save from Miami goalkeeper Rocco Rios Novo. At this stage, Cincinnati controlled the tempo. Miami looked pinned back. The crowd was raucous, sensing an opener. The momentum shifted entirely in a span of 10 seconds in the 19th minute. How it happened? Cincinnati was circulating the ball comfortably when Jordi Alba, reading the play with veteran intelligence, stepped up aggressively to intercept a pass intended for Nick Hagland. Instead of recycling possession, Miami transitioned instantly. The ball was worked quickly to the left flank where the youngster Silvetti was isolated. Silvetti drove to the byline, looked up, and floated a perfectly weighted cross toward the penalty spot. Drifting into the gap between the center backs was Lionel Messi. Unmarked, the Argentine captain executed a clinical downward header that bounced past Roman Celentano into the net. This was the psychological breaker. Cincinnati had done everything right for 18 minutes, yet they were down 0-1. The goal forced Cincinnati to abandon their patient build-up and chase the game earlier than they wanted, leaving gaps behind their wingbacks that Miami would ruthlessly exploit later. Cincinnati did have a golden chance to equalize in the 22nd minute when Ender Echenique found himself free in the box, but he dragged his shot wide. That miss was fatal. Against this Miami side, you rarely get a second reprieve. Coming out of halftime, the expectation was a Cincinnati siege. They pushed their wingbacks higher, effectively playing a 3-2-5 in possession. But this aggression played directly into Miami's trap. If the first goal shifted momentum, the second goal killed the contest. Just as Cincinnati was building a rhythm, Miami struck on the counter. Messi received the ball in the pocket of space, the zone 14, where he is deadliest. Instead of driving into traffic, he spotted Matteo Silvetti making a diagonal run off the left shoulder of the defender. Messi slid a pass through, and Silvetti, justifying his selection over Suarez, took it in stride and lashed a first-time finish into the far corner. A powerful drive across the keeper. At 2-0, Cincinnati's heads dropped. The tactical discipline required to contain Messi evaporated as frustration set in. The final 30 minutes became an exhibition. With Cincinnati desperate and disorganized, spaces opened up that simply shouldn't exist in a playoff semifinal. Transition again. Messi, operating now as a pure playmaker, picked up the ball near the center circle. He threaded a laser-guided through ball to Tadeo Allende, another second-half spark. Allende outpaced the weary defense and slotted the ball into the bottom left corner. Note the pattern: Messi assist, clinical finish. This was the piece de resistance. Messi received the ball in midfield. Without even looking up, he played a sublime outside of the boot pass that curled around the defender and perfectly into the path of Allende. Allende, confident from his earlier goal, held off the defender and struck a finish to the right post, sealing his brace and the 4-0 rout. Final score, Inter Miami CF 4-0 FC Cincinnati. Man of the match, Lionel Messi. While Allende's brace and Silvetti's emergence were vital, this match was decided by Messi's ability to punish mistakes. He had 4 goal contributions in a game where he barely had to sprint. Credit must go to Miami's back line and goalkeeper Rocco Rios Novo. In a chaotic environment, they kept a clean sheet against a dangerous Cincinnati attack, weathering the early storm that allowed their attackers to steal the show. Inter Miami now advances to the Eastern Conference Final to face New York City FC, and they do so looking not just like a collection of stars, but a cohesive, counterattacking machine.